I'm Marcy Goodman. I'm the Executive Director of the Cleveland International Film Festival, and thank you so much for being here at our CIFF 41 Staff Orientation. You guys are all the best. We're going to start out by watching a video. This is a video from last year's festival. Ted Sikora, an amazing local filmmaker, put this together for us. It was about the making and the presentation of last year's film festival. I think it's about 6 minutes long or so, but we thought it would be a good way just to get into the film festival mood.
I want to thank the festival for having this crazy little film. And
what exciting! What a great crowd here tonight.
We're gonna go into the theater. You wanna follow me?
Yep.
Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the movie.
Drop your ballots at the white box down the hall. Drop your ballots at the white box down the hall.
You see all these amazing films that you just can't see anyplace else.
We have 193 feature films.
We're playing 213 shorts this year.
Well, there's just a lot of moving parts with the film festival when you have over 500 events that take place over 12 days.
One thing that we're known for is that we have a huge film-loving audience.
Normally I see like 4 to 5 films a day.
Oh, I take off all week. I'm here from 9 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, all day, every day of the festival.
I think I've seen 40 movies.
Atomic Falafel was fantastic.
Yes.
I like Edge. I'm about to see The Beginner's Guide to Snuff.
It was a true story.
pretty nutty.
Albanians versus Serbs.
It's a feel-good cancer film, if you could imagine.
If they break up, I don't want to ruin the movie, but
It was well portrayed.
So we're the Cleveland International Film Festival. The international part is we want to try to bring the entire world to Cleveland. We're playing films from this year over 70 countries.
a melting pot for all of us nationalities. It's like going for a trip around the world.
This festival being under one roof is so fantastic because we were able to see so many screenings and just hop from one to another. We didn't have to take taxis.
All of my screenings have been sold out, which is phenomenal for a health and science documentary.
The fact that you can program such a wide array of films, the Eastern European program, the documentary series, the gay and lesbian program, and regardless, they'll find a huge audience at the film festival.
The Cleveland Film Festival is actually great at giving a voice to filmmakers and getting them close to their audience.
Everyone here is absolutely astounded by your bravery. I'm just honored that this film had the effect that it did.
But actually, it's a story of a survivor.
While the industry average for women filmmakers is in the single digits, year after year at Ciff, over 25% of our directors are women.
This year at the festival, we partnered with 164 other nonprofits. Community Partner is a nonprofit organization in Northeast Ohio. Its mission lines up with one of the films in the festival, and they promote their film and the festival to their constituents, and we promote them and their organization to our audience.
We have a 24/7 hotline.
When you see something in the festival that inspires you, there's a way to connect that inspiration into action.
I want to talk about the solutions that's going to start with the young people.
Like, I've never seen this many young people at a film festival.
Are you guys ready to go in? How many kids?
Total of 22.
Film Slam is a little mini festival for students.
What made you want to direct this?
This year, Film Slam had 8,500 students, 105 schools, and 50 screenings.
I think film festivals have this reputation for being snooty or inaccessible. The Cleveland Film Festival is not that at all.
Patrick Shepard, Shepher, Sheph.
You'll hear Patrick threatening to roll Beth out of the streets.
Well, I feel bad for Marcy because she's running away most of the time from our conversations.
When you get nice emails, can you forward them to me, please? When you get emails that aren't nice, keep them. I don't want to.
Mallory's gonna kill me, but she kind of has a weird accent. She says Toronto.
Toronto. So welcome to Perspectives. It's our first ever exhibition for interactive media and virtual reality.
I want you to just say the word on it.
Toronto.
Meet the Filmmakers with John Ritchie from 91%. Marco.
We have a set of writers, we have photographers, and a videography team, and they crank out about 50 videos during that 12 days. Then we have extended content online. Are you about to make fun of me for how I'm speaking?
No, I was just looking at you with love.
And we've got about 300 seasonal folks that help us out, and then that, of course, is augmented by our 1,000 volunteers.
I always say it feels like summer camp you come back once a year and see people you haven't seen since last year. And
if we could bring sleeping bags here and stay here overnight, we probably would do it.
To our 1,001 volunteers, thank you for working 3,442 shifts and donating 11,000 hours to the CIFF.
Breaking down on the old high road.
And then just see the entire city of Cleveland come together for these wonderful 12 days.
It's by far the most hospitable festival we've ever been to.
And the total attendance for CIFF 40 was 102,255.
40 years is pretty good longevity for a nonprofit organization. It's a must-keep event.
I believe it is probably the single best annual arts/cultural multi-day yada yada that Cleveland has going.
And it makes you realize there's a lot more going on in this world than just your own little world.
Keep pushing, keep speaking. Writing about my feelings is what brought us here to Cleveland. Keep pushing, keep speaking. Writing about our feelings is what brought us here to Cleveland.
Everyone who's returning, remember what it's like. Everyone who's new this year, you're in for a treat. I want to have our full-time staff introduce themselves. There are 8 of us at the film festival who work full-time, and also if you're a department manager, assistant manager, if you're kind of representing your team here today, if you could come up front, because I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves as well, because I know there are going to be some small group meetings after this one. So we'll start with the full-time staff, and I'll let you guys figure out how to do that. Oh my God, they're going to argue about it. And say what you do, kind of.
I'm Bill Gensler. I'm the artistic director of the festival. Both me and Mallory Martin are pretty much in charge of choosing the films for the festival, and then during the festival, I help with figuring out the best theaters for the films to play in. The film festival is programmed in 2 different ways, mainly. It's me and Mallory going to other film festivals around the world and choosing the best films to bring back, and then we have an entry process that Beth manages that she could talk about as well.
Good morning. I'm Beth Steele-Radisek, and I'm Special Programs Director. So the programs I manage are the call for entries, and we start June 1st, and we'll go all the way until mid-December. And last year we got over 3,000 submissions. We have around 172 people on our selection committee that watch films from June all the way through January. And then the other jobs I do, I manage the volunteer program. This year we have about 1,015 volunteers. Just everybody remember, they're working for free, so be as kind as you possibly can to them. And then I also manage the Film Slam program, which is the CIFF's longest running educational program. It's 25 years this year. And I know you saw it up on the screen, the different stats, but last year we had around 8,500 students last year. And this year, just to give you an example, our last Friday of the festival, we have 2,000 high school students, middle and high school students coming to the festival. I have Film Slam postcards, so if anybody knows any teachers, middle school, junior high or high school, I can give it to you after the meeting.
Hi, I'm Patrick Shepard. I'm the Associate Director, and most of the time I do know how to spell my own name. What I primarily do is fundraising. There's a cash budget for the organization that's a little over $3 million, and some of that comes through memberships and ticket sales and call for entry fees and the like, but over $2 million of that is what we call contributed income. So we work on corporate sponsorships, and I do this with both Marcy and Allie, corporate sponsorships, foundation grants, government grants, individual and major donor contributions, and our board of directors campaign. So that's a big part of what I do, I also manage the community engagement program that Marcy mentioned this year. Well, we started at 168 nonprofit organizations with which we're connecting, but I think we're actually now in the 170s since the program guide went to the printer. So that's where the various organizations promote films in the festival that are tied to their mission. So that's what I do.
Hello, I am Debbie Samples. I'm the Marketing and Media Director here at the Film Festival. And what that means is I get to work with my marketing counterpart, Maria Giganti, to make sure that our 70 media partners are under contract so that we have ads in paper, outdoor signage, radio, and online. I also get to work with our design firm, which is Type 27, and that is made up by Britton DeWorth and Nick Hafner, and they are the brilliant minds behind our marketing campaign for the last 5 years. They do an amazing amount of work. They do everything from notepads to merchandise to every single ad you see to outdoor signage. Anything that is branded with our branding or seasonal branding is touched by Type 27s. They have a tremendous amount of work they do and crank out every year for us. I also get to work with Fusion Filmworks, and Fusion Filmworks is John LaGuardia and Grace Nowak, and they are amazing at what they do. They put together our trailer for the last 2 years with just them, but we worked with them for years and years. We had over 100 people be part of this year's trailer. We filmed it, I think, 3 weeks ago, and it's all about playing with light, obviously going in tandem with our marketing campaign illumination, and it's just absolutely beautiful. We will once again unveil that on opening night, and we'll play that before over 520 screenings that happen between opening night and closing night. And then during the festival, I get to work with our Media Hub team. And our Media Hub team is a group of amazing, talented individuals. There's 25 of them this year. They're writers, they are videographers, they're editors, they're photographers. They just crank out information for us throughout the festival, and then we put that on our social media platforms to keep our audience in the know. If you are not following us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Flickr. And that's all from me.
Hi guys, I'm Mallory. I'm the Director of Programming and Projection. So my job basically starts with what Bill was talking about, picking all the movies. If it's a movie you like in the festival, I picked it. If you don't like it, Bill picked it. Beyond that, I also oversee our projection booth. So we have a team up there. It's mostly color tone guys from our AV team, and then some of our staff during the whole festival. And then besides that, I started a new interactive exhibition last year called Perspectives. If you guys were here last year, you might have been able to check it out. Although we were only open 4 days last year, we're open the whole festival this year. So we've definitely expanded it. We're open 11 to 7 to the public. It's free, open to the public to come. You don't have to have a ticket or a pass or anything. Last year, we were a little bit strict about letting staff come up to the space just because we weren't sure how busy it was going to be, and we did have lines. This year, I encourage staff to come check it out, not while you're working, on your off shift, please. But again, just kind of with the same stuff as it goes for festival films, if there's a lot of people trying to get into the space, patrons, please just come back at another time. I suggest trying to come like weekdays. Those I'm imagining are going to be less busy than the weekends, but we'll see. And if you still don't know what I'm talking about, the exhibition features virtual reality films, some interactive media, some video games. It's sort of a fun technological playground, if you will, with some independent filmmaking mixed in too. So please check that out. Am I leaving anything out? I think that's it.
Hello, I'm Debbie Marshall, but you all know me as Sheepy. I'm the one that sends lots of emails. I am the membership director and the operations manager. So I run our membership program, which we'll be hearing a little bit more about later. And operations manager is I'm overseeing staff and handling rentals and all that kind of fun logistical stuff during the festival. And knocking things over.
Good morning, I'm Allie Freeman. I'm the development manager for the festival, and so I work mainly with Marcy and Patrick on our fundraising efforts. I think this year we submitted over 30 grants, and that's in about a 4-month time period, so that's a lot of writing that we do. And then I also oversee the sponsorship fulfillment during the festival right beforehand. So during the festival, you'll find me at Patron Services. I think this year we have just over 180 sponsors and funders, and that's cash and trade. We try to trade a lot because we're a nonprofit. So you'll see me at Patron Services. That's where a lot of the sponsors and partners will come check in to do announcements before the festival. So I'll be working a lot with you theater ops people. So whoever you are, I will probably be meeting you later.
Okay, you guys just got to meet the 7 people whom I love most in the entire world. Okay, some department managers, heads. I think Richard is here, maybe just to, if you could introduce yourself. So Richard is part of the team that leads theater ops. Do you want to tell everyone what theater ops does? Real quick, okay.
I'm one of 5 theater op managers, and our role in the festival is a lot of managing. We coordinate the lines in the walkway. We bring everybody in and out of the theaters. We make sure the theaters are set up on time. We coordinate with the booth as to when to start the films. We coordinate with the Q&A coordinators as to how long they have for Q&As and when they need to stop. And we monitor. We just basically make sure that everything's flowing smoothly. That's about it.
Thank you. Any other department managers or who are here who want to introduce themselves? All right, well, some of the groups, teams are meeting after this meeting, so I'm just going to hope that you find each other. In your, what we gave to you today, you have the agenda for this morning, a staff roster, and our staff handbook for this year. The staff roster, take a look at your information, and if you need to make any changes, please let Sheepy know, or Polly. Where's Polly? Polly, can you stand up? Polly is our office manager this festival, and so Sheepy or Polly can help you with any roster changes, because it is a work in progress, and we'll just keep updating it. The handbook, take it with you, try to memorize it. Everything inside is important. I'm going to refer to it a lot as I keep talking. And then we have program guides certainly outside of the theater and everywhere, but I hope you all have a program guide, or if you don't, grab one, because it's also a great way to learn about what's going to be happening at the film festival. In your handbook, and you don't have to turn to any of these pages, you can do it at your leisure, but we do state the mission of the organization, which in a nutshell is exhibition and education. We show the films and we do everything in our power so that our audience learns something along the way. And by telling you what we do, we're also telling you what we don't do, and that is production. That is the mission of the Greater Cleveland Film Commission. It's an entirely separate nonprofit organization, and the work that they do and the work that we do complement each other beautifully. And Sheepy's going to come back and tell you a bit about our membership program.
Important part of our audience is our members. Each year we have around 1,700 members. We have 7 different levels of membership. If you have a program guide on page 19, it kind of outlines it. This is also our handy little brochure with a nice little chart of all the different benefits. This kind of information is helpful, especially when answering questions. As I said, a lot of our patrons are members. We have basically 2 kind of different types of members. There's non-pass holder members and pass holder members. The pass holder members are obviously wearing a pass, the director, executive producer, and movie mogul levels. And then the non-pass holder level, we have a film student membership for current students. Our basic membership is our film buff, and we have a film fanatic and a film star as well. Just to kind of give you a little overview of that, every member gets advanced ticket sales a week before the general public. $2 off the price of every ticket, a program guide mailed to them, and 15% off merchandise and special presentation tickets. They have special web features that they have access to, such as our online screening room for webisodes, and My Schedule feature, which lets them kind of build their schedule even if they're not purchasing tickets, if they're pass holders. So that's a general overview of what every member gets benefits to, and then obviously it goes up as the levels go up. But yeah, they are our dedicated fan base, so please be nice to them.
Jeff Belter, you here? He might be outside, but Jeff is the general manager of this theater, Tower City Cinemas, and Tower City is our partner for the entire festival, and so we work hand in hand with Jeff and his entire team as well. All right, I'm going to tell you about what's new this year, and every year we think, oh my gosh, we do so much, how could we do anything new ever again? But of course we are. So what's new this year? And my list is in no particular order. It's just how I organize things on paper. Big picture, as you know, our marketing campaign this year is all about illuminate. And we settled on that word over the summer, and as it turns out, we could not have picked a better choice because it is just so meaningful in terms of everything we do and will do for this festival. We have a program this year. I don't think it impacts our business operations team more than anybody, but we had a benefactor who donated $25,000 to us, and she wanted the money to be used to give tickets to people who might not be able to afford to come to the film festival. So we created a program with the CDCs in the area, and they are giving away vouchers to their residents to come to the festival. So hopefully we'll have a lot of first-timers here, and that'll be an amazing thing. In terms of our awards, we are doing a Director Spotlight Award. We haven't done one in 5 years, and that's when we focus on a director's career. This year it's Steve James. He has been here before. We've shown his films before. He's probably best known for Hoop Dreams. So he'll be here that first Friday and Saturday of the festival, and we are showing a number of his films. He'll be here for every Q&A, and at one of the screenings we will present him with the award, and we can't wait to have him here. We have a first-time award called the Distinguished Award of Appreciation. We are presenting that to A.O. Scott. He's one of the chief film critics at the New York Times, and we are expressing our appreciation to him for his appreciation of film festivals. He often writes about film festivals, and we really want to recognize that. We will present his award to him on closing night, that day before the last Saturday of the festival. He'll be here for a special one-on-one conversation and book signing, so that'll be exciting. And then our documentary competition, which we've done for many years. In the past couple of years, it has been in memory of Mark Schwartz, one of our trustees who passed away a few years ago. And so this year, we've actually named the award, and it's called the May the Schwartz Be With You Directors Award. Our challenge match, which is our annual campaign, we choose to do it live and in person during the film festival, has a goal this year of $150,000. That's the biggest goal we've ever had, but every year, not only do we reach our goal, but we exceed it, and we know that will happen again this year. Our chat room was new last year. It's a space, one level up from here, and it's where we can have extended Q&As, panel discussions. Some of our community engagement partners will use the room. So that is happening again. The location is across the way from where it was last year, but there'll be signage. You'll be able to find it. And AT&T is going to outfit it for us with some great furniture and stuff for a few days of the festival. On closing night, we're going to have a jib camera, and that's one of those cameras with the giant arms. That's just going to give us a different view of closing night than we've ever been able to have before. We're going to try to do a PowerPoint so that as the awards are announced, they'll be up on the screen, because a lot of people can't hear. We announce an award, and then people cheer and applaud, and half the crowd misses it. So we're going to hopefully put those announcements up on screen as they're happening. We're going to live stream closing night again this year. We did it last year. We didn't know if it was going to work, so we didn't tell anyone. But 2,000 people tuned in anyway. They watched, and it worked really well. So this year we're doing it again, and we're actually going to tell people this year. And this is just a cool kind of fact. The director of our closing night film, the film is called The Hero. The director is Brett Haley. We opened the festival 2 years ago with Brett's film, I'll See You in My Dreams. And so Brett's the only director who has both opened and closed our festival in our history, and he'll be here, so that will be great fun too. Patrick mentioned our community engagement program. We do have a new sponsor this year. It is Strassman Insurance Services. We're going to have a community partner corner, and that's going to be an area in the lobby where our patrons can talk to our community partner representatives after each screening and get materials from those community partners. We have some special things going on this festival with some of our films and our community partners. One of the documentaries in the festival is called The Chocolate Case, and we will be giving away free chocolate bars at those screenings, if there are any chocolate bars left, since they were delivered to the office yesterday. Get there early. Okay. We have 2 films about service dogs, Letting Go of Adele, and Prison Dogs. We will have dogs here at this festival. Maybe don't tell Jeff Belter that. But yes, we will have puppies at the festival this year. Mixed Match is a film about bone marrow registries, bone marrow donors, and we will have a bone marrow registry set up after each screening of that film. We did that a number of years ago for a different film, and it was amazing. And then Strangers on Earth features a celloist from the Cleveland Orchestra, and he will be doing some performances during the festival. So fun stuff happening in addition to the films. With regard to our filmmakers, we have a new program. This only involves our filmmakers and our board of directors, but I want to tell you about it just in case you hear about it so you'll know what people are talking about. They're called Jam Sessions. And just some inside baseball, Jam stands for Janet and Mark, and that's Janet and Mark Smith who underwrite our guest filmmaker program. And so we're having 4 happy hour gatherings for our filmmakers and our trustees during the festival. And we've invited the Greater Cleveland Film Commission and Gravitas, which is a distribution company, to be part of those, because we want our guest filmmakers to learn about our local filmmaking community and to perhaps make a future film here in Cleveland. So we'll see how those go. We have a new program this year called Ciff Squared, and that stands for the Cleveland International Film Festival, Connecting and Illuminating Future Filmmakers. So it's CIFF, or Ciff Squared. And on the video, Mallory last year at closing night announced that 25% of our filmmakers were women. This year it's 33% of our filmmakers are women. And many of those filmmakers are women of color. Did I say that right? Okay, thank you. And we are pairing these filmmakers with some high school students in the community. We're doing this as a pilot project this year. It's a small program, and we know it'll be amazing, and next year we'll include it in our funding proposals and make it a bigger program. But we're going to have some student filmmakers, and most of these students will be women, young women as well, meet our guest filmmakers and learn from one another and spend some time together. So we're excited about that as well. Film Slam, which Beth told you a little bit about that program. We've been doing some things with that program, even leading up to it. But some changes this year, or enhancements. We are connecting our Film Slam kids to the community engagement partners on the films that they will be seeing. We're immersing the kids in the foreign language films that they will be seeing, so there'll be a foreign language greeter when they arrive, and that foreign language will be the only language spoken during their entire festival experience. We will be inviting our Film Slam kids to visit Perspectives, something that was not possible last year because we were only open 4 days last year. And those Film Slam students who come that first Thursday and Friday of the festival will be given vouchers to come back the following week, hopefully with their family and friends. Let's see, merchandise. There's new merchandise this year, and staff get discounts on merchandise, so stop by. But we'll have bandanas, flag pens, messenger bags, nightlights, sweatshirts, all kinds of things to buy. Our opening night is a documentary film. It's called California Typewriter. It's the first time in 15 years that we've opened with a doc, and I think only the second time in our history. Let's see, in terms of programming, our Naznadny and Schwartz documentary competition this year is focusing on, and in the future, we're focusing on portrait documentaries, so we've redefined that competition a little bit. We have some new sidebars, and sidebars are one way in which we categorize some of the films in the festival, very much to make it easier for people to decide what to see because it can be so overwhelming. So every year the programming reveals itself in a way that enables us to create new sidebars. And this year we have 3, which is a lot. We have one on race relations, one called the sports section, and one called Voices of the Arab World. We already have 3 late edition films, and those people can find on our website since they're not in the program guide. But they are, the films are called Patty Cakes, Step, and Citizen Jane. So you can look those up online. We have one cancellation. It was a film with only one screening at the Cinematheque called 7852. That film has been canceled. It's being replaced by Citizen Jane. Tower City Center, so some great big changes here. This is our second year with our new landlord. The center was purchased 1 week before we opened last year by Bedrock Detroit. And so this is year 2 with Bedrock as our landlords, but this year they're kind of paying attention. So, but they've been great to us. They will be here, which we're very excited about. Last year they tried to come for closing night, but there was a bad snowstorm in Michigan and they couldn't make it. They will be here this year. So that's new. This is year 1 with Laz Parking, a new parking company we haven't worked with before, so they'll have to get used to us. And year 1 with Rock Venture Security, a new security company. Here at the cinemas, those of you who are returning, Ken Young has left the company. He got a job closer to home. So Sean Denny is our new person in charge who's representing Cleveland Cinemas. So Sean will be here for the festival. You know him. You'll know him when you see him. He would substitute for Ken when Ken couldn't be here. So we've had meetings with Sean, and hopefully we haven't scared him too much. Our volunteers will have a headquarters. It's pretty much going to be unmarked. Only the volunteers will know about it, but it is in the mall around the corner from Dunkin' Donuts. So that's where our volunteers will be hanging out this year at the festival. We still have the volunteer lounge, which is theater number 8 across the way, but the busiest place will be this new volunteer headquarters. So we're excited about that. In terms of numbers, and again, some of these numbers do change, but as of this moment, we have 202 feature films in the festival, 216 short films. At Perspectives, we will have 14 VR and 8 interactive media selections. We're representing 71 countries this year. We will have over 520 screenings. We will be at 7 neighborhood locations in addition to being here at Tower City. We'll have well over 200 feature filmmakers and probably about 100 short film filmmakers. As Patrick said, we're over 170 in terms of the number of community partners. Our media partners and neighborhood outreach number is 70. Sheepy mentioned we'll probably land at close to 1,700 members. We have 185 sponsors and funders. There are 275 seasonal staff. About 1,015 volunteers. Our board of directors right now consists of 39 people. I think that number will be at 41 by the time the festival starts, and the 8 full-time staff. So that's what's new this year. It's a lot. We've had a lot of growth over the years. That isn't, we talk about it in this handbook. Growth is wonderful. It's not our focus. Our focus is always on better, not bigger. All we care about is making this festival a better experience for our audience. We do that year after year. The bigger part tends to go hand in hand with that, but that's just how it goes. There's a lot about customer service in this handbook and about kindness. And I'm not going to talk about that at this meeting. I'll let you read the handbook, but at our pep rally, March 28th, that morning at the Ritz-Carlton, and you have to be there. The purpose of that gathering really is to just focus on customer service and grace and gratitude and kindness, which is what we are all about. In addition to the films, which are very important to a film festival, also of great importance to us is customer service. And the way we see it is if you see a film in the festival that you don't like because Bill programmed it, how'd I do? Chances are that you'll come back and see another one. But if you have an unpleasant experience with anyone on our staff or volunteer team, we're never going to see you again. So everything we do is all about customer service, and I will talk a lot about that in a couple weeks. Also in your handbook, you'll find some information on division of labor, the different teams or departments of the festival, problem-solving protocol. Just the main thing I want to say is that if there's a problem at the festival that is going to impact the entire operation, everyone. You have to come to a full-time staff person with that problem before going to anyone else. And the 8 of us are interchangeable. All 8 full-time staff people have complete authority when it comes to the film festival. So it doesn't matter which one of us you grab, please grab one of us. And we have had, not a lot over the years, but every now and then something will happen. You'll read about emergencies and security, our hours of operation, the different festival stations where everything's at. There is a map inside the handbook, so get to know that really well. The fine print, we have, lots of not lots, but there are rules and regulations when it comes to operating a film festival. There are a few pages on jargon, so definitely spend some time on those pages. And you can learn when we say challenge match what we're talking about. We also list the neighborhood screenings in your handbook, the 7 locations, which will be back at Akron this year at 3 locations, the Akron Summit County Public Library, the Akron Art Museum, and the Nightlight. We will be at the Cinematheque again and at Beachland Ballroom. We'll be at the Cedar Lee Theater, which was our original home, and at the Capitol Theater. And then there's a section in your handbook at the festival, Where Do I? That's our FAQs. It's what's on our website and in the program guide, but it's really important for everyone who's on our staff to know how to answer those questions as well. In terms of us, in the handbook, we talked. There's some information about parking, and mostly what you have to know as a staff person is that right now at the tickets set up, and then during the festival at Patron Services, there's what we call the Magic Validator, and that validator is only for staff and volunteers. You have to show a pass to get your parking ticket stamped, but if you do that with the Magic Validator, your parking will be free. Tower City is very busy on a normal day. It's even busier during the festival, so what we like to do most is what Patrick is going to tell you about.
For those of you that have been with us in past years, I give this speech every year, but for those of you that are new, it's important to know that there's not enough parking here at Tower City Center, particularly during office hours on business days. So, the Tower City Center self-parking lots will typically fill up in the 9 or 10 o'clock windows Monday through Friday, just because there's so many people up in the office towers. It's a little easier on evenings and weekends, but we do strongly encourage not only our patrons, but also our staff and volunteers to take RTA. RTA is a sponsor of the festival, and they provide complimentary rides to our 1,000 plus volunteers and everybody in this room as well. So what we do is we have the 2 ride passes in the hands of the various team leaders. So we encourage you to take RTA. The main change with RTA this year is that because of their declining budget, there were some service cuts implemented since the last festival, and probably the most significant one is the fact that the Green Line train, which goes all the way out to Schicker Boulevard and Green Road, the last run for that train is 9 o'clock when it used to be midnight. So for those of you who even just go to Schicker Square, that's actually the neighborhood where I live, last year there would be trains every 15 minutes after, all the way till 12:15 in the morning. But now it's really on the half hours for the Blue Line, because that does continue to run till 12:15, but it'll essentially be 9:15, 9:45, 10:15 for the runs to the east. The Red Line remains the same, so that's good news. But if you have any questions, just come ask me or visit the RTA website for more information.
Before I go on, I just want to point out Mike Wendt is on our staff, and Mike is videotaping this for us this morning, and we'll post it if you want to watch it again for some reason. But but for people who can't be here, they'll be able to watch it. Sheep, staff forms.
Okay, so as Marcy mentioned, there are around 275 of you. So that gets a little bit complicated to try to keep track of all of you. So in your packets is the roster. If you don't see your name on here, it's because you have not signed up for Shiftboard. So please do that. And if you don't know how to do that, just come see me or email me or call me. My information is also in here. And if your name is highlighted, we are missing your independent contractor form. So again, please fill that out. And if you don't know how to, come see me. As I mentioned, Shiftboard is something that we're doing that's kind of new this year. Theater Ops in the past has used Shiftboard, but this is the first time that we're doing it for everybody on staff. Each team is using it kind of differently, but instead of using paper forms this year, we're trying to make everything electronic to save trees and also just to hopefully simplify things. So that's one of the reasons that we use Shiftboard is to capture staff information. So even if you will not be using it for scheduling or communications, it's very important that we have your contact information and tax information to pay you. The other form that you may be filling out that you haven't seen yet is our radio agreement form. Not everybody on staff uses radios, but especially if you're on theater ops, you will be using a radio at some point. These radios are very, very expensive, and they come with a headset that you'll be checking out for the duration of the festival. And every year we have a handful of headsets missing. So just a reminder that, you sign this knowing that you may be charged if you misplace your headset. As far as the pep rally on the 28th, that's when you'll be getting your staff packets, which will have a special staff gift, your staff t-shirt, and your badge. On your badge this year, we'll have QR codes, because with Shiftboard, we'll be clocking you in and out by scanning the QR codes. And we're going to attempt to do a staff lookbook, just so, because we're so large and it's kind of hard to keep track of everybody, and it's just kind of nice to put a name to a face. So if you can update your pictures on your Shiftboard so that they're actually your picture. I've had some, I think my favorite is the Terminator. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, if you could just make sure that it somewhat resembles you. Maybe it doesn't have to be you, but that would be great. And then also, as we talked about, this is the Magic Staff Validator. It looks a lot like the other validators that we have that are for patrons. That gets them a $5 discount, but this one is, again, for you guys, for staff and volunteers, is free. So just make sure when you're getting it validated, you're getting it validated on the correct one. So if you're not wearing your staff badge and you come up to patron services, just, let them know that you are in fact staff. Otherwise, you will be charged $5. And if you don't have your ticket with you, unfortunately, there's not much we can do, because basically what this does is it demagnetizes the strip on the actual card. So if you don't have that card with you, there's not a lot that we can do. So just try to get in the habit of sticking that in your staff badge as you come in every day. And I think that's it.
Very much. Also, Bill just reminded me, I want to mention the hospitality suite, and that is another area upstairs. It's where our guest relations team have their headquarters to welcome our guest filmmakers, but it's also where our patrons hang out in between films to have snacks and just visit with our guest filmmakers, because it's for them too. To get into the hospitality suite, we scan, you have to have a pass with a barcode on it, and staff and volunteers passes do not have barcodes on them. So the hospitality suite is only for our sponsors and members and guest filmmakers, so anyone with a barcode on their pass. If you're on the guest relations team or the hospitality suite team in terms of staffing, you can, of course, be up there, and we will have special stickers for your passes to make sure. This year, we are hiring security to check barcode passes at the door. So it's going to be very strict this year. Let's see. Dress code, again, in your handbook, just dress comfortably. It's all about wearing comfortable shoes when you work at the film festival. You will have your staff t-shirts, and if you want to wear them, that would be fantastic. Cell phones, this is something new. We added some information in the staff handbook this year, and the business operations team has actually a very lengthy handout about cell phones. But the bottom line is don't be on your cell phone while you're working, please. And always keep it on silent or vibrate. We have to be extra, extra cautious. For those of you who work with our patrons who are using credit cards and such, so that's the box office, merchandise challenge match, really want to keep cell phones out of sight. Getting paid, Sheepy just mentioned those staff forms, no form, no check. That's all I need to say on that. Vouchers, there are vouchers, but only anyone on the administrator staff has to sign off on a voucher request, and there really shouldn't be too many voucher requests. There are, examples. Jay Bravo, who's managing our parking situation, often needs vouchers to appease people who aren't happy or things like that. But for the most part, there shouldn't be much need for vouchers among the group. The film viewing policy is also in the handbook. There's a whole page on that. So the days of working for the film festival and getting to see lots of movies are over. The days of working for the film festival and getting to see any movie is almost over. Back in the day when our films were submitted to us on video, if you go back that far, DVDs, you could borrow DVDs from the office and watch the film. So now everything is online, and it's password controlled, so we can't share films anymore. But when you're at the festival and you're not working and you want to see a film, there's a way you can do that, assuming that there are tickets available. And I think it's 20 or 30 minutes before showtime. You can go to the box office, show your staff pass, and get a ticket for the film you want to see. If a film is on standby, all bets are off. You cannot get a ticket. So the box office will walk you through that if you want to try to see films during the festival. So anyway, please read your staff handbook. And we're going to just answer some questions of full-time staff. But first, I just want to go over with you some important dates that are coming up. And these two are in your handbook. So we keep mentioning the pep rally. It is Tuesday, March 28th, 8:30 a.m. at the Ritz-Carlton in the ballroom. We'll have a continental breakfast, and we'll have a program. It won't last too long, but just all about getting ready for what's about to happen the next day. And Sheepy will send out another reminder about this. We do need RSVPs because the Ritz is catering it, and we need to give them a head count. Wednesday, March 29th, of course, is opening night. And a lot of people will be working opening night, especially if you're part of the theater ops team. Everyone's invited. We won't know until that night if we'll have room for you to see the film, but we have room for everybody at the party afterwards, which is within the complex at Post Office Plaza, and we will have opening night self-parking tickets so that you can get free self-parking, but you need to pick one up at the party. They'll be at the security desk at the party for that. And then just there's a lot happening at the festival, and we'll keep you updated. But just so everyone knows, Monday, April 3rd is a free day for CSU. We did it last year. We're doing it again this year. If you're a CSU student, if you work at CSU, if you're an alumni, if you have a valid ID, you get into the festival for free on that Monday. We like to recognize and appreciate people throughout the festival. Friday, April 7th is our Volunteer Appreciation Day, and our volunteers will have some extra special swag they'll be wearing, and we will recognize them. Not that we don't appreciate them every minute of every day, but we just pick one day to really express that. Saturday, April 8th is Tommy T-shirt Day, and that's when we invite our patrons to wear a T-shirt from this or any festival, and they can enter a drawing to win passes to next year's festival. Sunday, April 9th, at 8 p.m., we all gather on the grand staircase in the mall, and we do our staff photo, so we hope you'll be part of that. And then closing night program starts at around 9 o'clock, and we hope that you'll all be at closing night. And then we have an after party, really just for staff and our guest filmmakers and our board, and that's at Lincoln Tap House upstairs at around 10:30. Monday, April 10th is Breakdown Day, and that's when we take this theater complex apart and give it back to Tower City Cinemas. That's at 9 a.m. And then we have lunch, a hot lunch, and for many of us, it's our first hot meal in weeks or months. And that's in the English Oak Room, again, in the complex that's catered by Executive Caterer. So if you're part of Breakdown Day, you're invited for lunch. And then Tuesday, May 2nd, is going to be our staff party. And this year we'll be at Great Lakes Brewery. And again, we'll send reminders to you about that because we want you all to be there. So questions that any of us on the full-time staff or any of the department managers can answer for anyone? And I know, again, a lot of you are meeting in teams afterwards. Yep.
So it's not strict this year to wear t-shirts every day for the festival?
It is. You'll need to do laundry at some point, but wear your t-shirts as much as you want or can. That would be great. But it's not a requirement, but it is helpful. All right, so I mentioned that there are about 216 short films in the festival. So we just randomly picked one that we thought we would show you just to wrap things up. So we're going to show you this film, and you'll like it. I don't know how we ended up showing that film. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you for being part of the 41st Cleveland International Film Festival. We are going to illuminate. We cannot do it without all of you. We do not want to do it without all of you. We absolutely will not do it without all of you. Please take the opportunity to gather outside this meeting in small groups if you'd like. And next up, we will see you at the pep rally on Tuesday, March 28th. Thank you all.